Here is how to retire overseas. There must be 50 ways to leave your country. Make a little plan, Stan. Hop on the bus, Gus. Drop off the key, Lee, and set yourself free. My overseas life came in stages starting in 2007. So basically I'm describing my own experience and adding a few new steps that would make retiring overseas go more smoothly. Don't take notes. At the end of this video, I'll tell you how to get a written copy of everything I discuss. Stage 1, preparing to leave. In this stage 1, I discuss how to prepare to leave your home country, but only for a temporary 6-month exploratory visit. The truth is, some of you will not like living outside your home country. So I'm suggesting that you do a temporary exploratory visit before making permanent changes in your life. So these stage 1 suggestions are more temporary in nature. That means if you don't like living overseas, you can come back and undo these changes. Here are the steps I suggest you take to get ready for a 6-month exploratory visit. Okay, your home. If you own a home, it is not a good idea to leave it vacant for 6 months. You need to put someone in there. You could let your family or friends live there for free or for a great discount, but doing business with friends or family doesn't always turn out the best. Plus, they may not be interested in giving up their existing residence if they have to leave again in 6 months when you return. Instead, I suggest you rent the place out to someone for 6 months. Short-term leases like this go faster and at a higher price if they are furnished. So just leave your furniture in there, pack your personal stuff up and put it in storage. Hire a manager for about 8% of the rents to watch over the property and call a plumber if something leaks in the middle of the night. When you're sleeping in another country, you'll rest better knowing that there's a property manager there to answer the phone and handle any problems that happen. If overseas living is not for you, you'll still have your home to come back to. Start on this 1 or 2 months before you leave the country. Okay, your phone. If you have a cell phone and a landline, or just one of the two, port those numbers over to Google Voice. I explain how to do that in my free ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. Link provided. Download that now. Don't wait till the last minute. Follow the directions in the free ebook. Start on this 2 months before you leave. While you're overseas, you'll be able to make and receive calls without paying international calling or roaming rates. If you just follow all the instructions in my free ebook, link provided. Get your phone unlocked 2 months before you leave. If your phone is unlocked, you can get a new local SIM card and data plan for your new phone or for your phone in each country. So you're always only paying local data rates. They're often 5 times cheaper, for example, than the US. Make sure your phone has the ability to act as a hotspot or Wi-Fi router in case your internet is spotty as you travel. Again, link provided for this information. If you're enjoying this video, could you please like it, comment, share, subscribe to our channel? Thank you so much in advance. Okay, what about your snail mail? That's the postal service if you haven't heard that term. This one is a little tricky. It's best to do this one about 3 months before you leave. You can monitor what snail mail you get and make sure nothing falls through the cracks if you do it early enough. First, you need to create an online account for everyone in the world that still sends you snail mail. Then select the paperless feature so they send you emails instead of snail mail. Cancel all magazines that don't offer paperless online access. Now watch what comes in the mail for 3 months before you leave. You're trying to stop all snail mail. Finally, 10 days before you leave, place a mail forwarding to a friend's house with the postal service. It's called mail forwarding. Link provided. You can read more about it. If anything comes in the snail mail to your friend, tell them to take a picture of the letter and email it to you. Then contact that person or company. Tell them you only receive email now, no more snail mail, no exceptions. You'll probably end up with 1 or 2 people that sent you mail eventually. This is all I get, and I have a friend that receives that for me and sends me emails with pictures of it. Okay, set up Social Security. Follow the directions on this link to set up your Social Security for overseas living. Link provided. I haven't done this yet because I'm still only 59 years old, but this official Social Security link explains the requirements and limitations. Do this about 3 months before you plan on leaving. Okay, your car. I sold my car because my overseas contract was for 24 months, my first one. If you let a car sit for 24 months without driving it, you're likely to have some expensive, serious repairs when you return. But if you're only leaving for 6 months, you could leave your car at a friend's house and have them start the car every week or so. If you leave your car with a friend, don't assume they will never drive it, so keep it insured while you're gone. I sold mine partly to save the insurance money for 2 years. If you decide to sell your car, run your ad on Auto Trader about 6 weeks before you leave the country. Just ride Uber if your car sells a few weeks before you leave. Okay, what about your loved ones? If you set your phones up like I described above, tell them they can call your same old phone number anytime they want to chat. Explain that you'll receive your phone calls on your computer, your tablet, or your phone, just like you do now, whether it's your landline or your cell phone. That's because you're going to port them to Google Voice, which the link above teaches you how to do. Tell them to leave a message if you don't answer. If you don't answer, it probably means you're sleeping in another time zone. Tell them not to mail you anything while you're gone. No birthday cards, no Christmas cards. Just take a picture and email it to you. Do this 3 weeks before you leave. That way they can do test calls to you on your laptop or your phone at your old number and make sure it still rings so they'll calm down. Okay, your travel plans. Start researching your most likely Retire Cheap in Paradise locations about 6 months before you leave. It's okay to do this early, a year or two if you want. It's kind of entertaining actually. In stage 2, you'll do a 6-month exploratory visit overseas. Your goal is to pick the places you're most likely to love to live overseas. A 6-month exploratory visit may sound like a long time, but the time will fly by quickly. Depending on your budget and the regions of the world you're most interested in, you'll need to pick the right order to traverse the regions of the world to save on time, airfare, and reduce any doubling back to see places you missed. In addition to finding your favorite places for exploration, you'll be verifying living costs and livability factors during your 6-month exploratory visit. You might find out our travel cheap reports, our regional travel reports, and our world travel reports helpful in planning this phase. You need to make a little plan, Stan. Okay, what about your luggage? I suggest that you learn how to pack your luggage. You need to reduce to 1 check bag and 1 carry-on bag. Although international flights often allow you more luggage, the regional flights will charge way more in fees if you go over 20 kg checked, which is 44 pounds, or 7 kgs carry-on. 7 kgs is 15 pounds, whether that's a backpack or a carry-on. Put your valuable stuff in your carry-on, like your computer, phone, your tablet, passport, money, all that stuff. This is the maximum you should carry. If you can get down to only the carry-on, your life will be even better and easier during your exploratory visit. Okay, what about banking? I suggest you leave your money in your home country bank and just pull cash from ATMs as you go as needed. Open a Charles Schwab Bank high yield investor checking. Sounds fancy, but they'll let you do it. About 2 months before you leave the country, I failed to do this, and my old debit card was charging me $7 in fees on average every time I pulled money out at a foreign ATM. It's almost impossible to open this account from outside the US, so don't wait to do this. It's saving me about $30 per month in banking fees. Okay, what about your first stop overseas? If you use our planning resources at vagabondbuddha.com, you'll probably know at least 10 places you want to investigate during your 6-month exploratory visit. All 10 could be in the same country, or they might be spread across several countries in the same region, or several countries in different regions of the world. I suggest you only book the first leg of your journey. Keep your schedule open so you can stay longer when you love a place or leave sooner when you don't. If you plan everything in advance, you will be locked in and you'll waste a lot of money making changes. Make sure to verify whether or not you need a visa, and do that at least a month before you leave, if you can, at least for the first few places. As an American, I can go to most countries without getting a visa before I fly, but I still check about a month before I fly. Laws change all the time, so don't assume anything. Okay, stage 2, 6-month exploratory visit. You're heading to the airport. The only way you'll know if you really want to live somewhere and whether or not you can afford to live there in a joyful way on your budget is by taking an exploratory visit. You must verify the cost of living, things to do, and see what it feels like to be there in person. That's the only way you'll know if you can live overseas comfortably. Okay, slow travel during your exploratory visit. What is slow traveling? It means you go at your own pace across the country. You travel more often on land. You stay more often in places that are furnished apartments with kitchens, and you stay longer. This isn't a vacation. That way you can shop in stores for food, learn the prices of everything, verify access to foods you love, and the itemized costs of living. You stay as long as you need to understand the place and then move on to your next place of interest. You stay in each place for a few weeks so you really know what it feels like. You travel between spots of interest using trains and buses when possible, so you get a real feel for the landscape, what it looks like looking out the window traveling through that country. Slow traveling gives you a feel for the places you cannot get by living as a tourist. Plus, slow travel is much cheaper. You're trying to live like a local so you can verify that you can live there year-round on your projected budget. Okay, visit adjacent countries. When you're on your exploratory visit, I suggest you visit some adjacent countries within the same region of the world. You may even visit countries in other regions of the world. For example, you might think Thailand will be your favorite place in the world, but you may find that you can only stay for 60 days with one tourist visa extension. Why not take a train or flight south to Malaysia for a month or two and see how that feels? After a month or two there, take a flight to Vietnam and visit a few of my favorite places, maybe Hoi An, Nha Trang, Da Nang, and Dalat. There are cheap transfers between all these cities. Then cross over to Cambodia for a month to see Kampot, Battambang, and Siem Reap. For the last month or so, you could visit Bali, Indonesia, or the Philippines. With that experience under your belt, you can make a knowledgeable decision of not only where you want to retire, but what your approximate budget will be. You will be an expert. Okay, stage 3, make an informed decision. With a 6-month exploratory visit under your belt, you'll know what to do next. Maybe you'll be tired of the world and ready to go home. Some people feel that way. Maybe you'll decide to live in a hut on a white sand beach and write a novel. Maybe you'll fall in love with a city full of modern amenities and beautiful weather like Kuala Lumpur or Bangkok. Maybe or Hanoi or any number of cities. Maybe you'll end up like me. I've made a life of slow traveling and learning all about the world and the various cultures. 65 countries later, maybe one day I'll pick a place and settle down. But for now, I want to continue slow traveling the world. The good news is you'll not have to make this decision until the answer is obvious to you. Thanks for listening to my ideas on how to retire overseas. For a written copy, click the More Information link in the notes below this YouTube video. For more videos on this topic, click the Comparing Retire Cheap Places playlist arriving on the right of the screen about now. To find over 50 reports retire cheap reports all over the world, visit Vagabond Buddha. Our reports will teach you how to retire early for cheap in paradise. The world is your home. What time will you be home for dinner?